me to join you at this very august gathering. I have to admit that I'm a little nervous to be presenting in front of such an audience, so bear with me. I'd like this morning to tell you a little bit about the work I've been doing with specific traffic analysis to aid in AIS navigation deployment, and indeed the risk mitigation measures presented by AIS navigation. Changing times, we have existing dangers, the vessel you've just seen, grounding situations, but also offshore renewable energy sites which are starting to severely constrict traffic in our waters, the North Sea and the English Channel. Situations are increasingly developing such that vessel conflict increases. But if we go back to the requirements under SOLAS Chapter 5, Regulation 13, and the volume of traffic justifies the degree of risk requires, and how do we assist ourselves in assessing the degree of risk and the volume of traffic. And I believe that AIS traffic analysis can be a valuable tool, but it has to be used carefully and with a certain amount of experience. AIS traffic analysis can assist by presentation of data to allow thorough qualitative assessment underpinned by quantitative facts. It can't run alone. We must have that qualitative element, and we must, as far as possible, support this with the quantitative information. So, the confirmation of the requirements for ATON, selection of the most appropriate position for that AIS navigation, and indeed the most appropriate ATON to deploy. Today, I'd like to examine three key areas in the use of AIS data. Assessing the requirements for AIS navigation in emergency wreck or marking of obstructions, marking new or existing shoal areas, and confirmation of existing or new ATON for general navigation. I'll have a little look at AIS as an aid to navigation, well covered in the earlier session, but some aspects relating to how traffic analysis can assist, and some of the limitations with the AIS data, particularly with regards to traffic analysis and the risk assessment process. Omar mentioned earlier in the week when I was talking about IRAP, and excuse me Omar for stealing one of your slides, but the density plots, yeah, they're very useful, but with regard to exact AIS navigation requirements, we need to go further. And the same can go for the AIS traffic analysis. 12 weeks of data, it looks very busy, but does that actually tell me where I need to deploy AIS navigation, continue, or indeed perhaps discontinue or change? And equally, a snapshot one moment in time, it's interesting, it tells us it's busy, but does it actually tell me what I need to know for risk mitigation measures with regard to AIS navigation? So I'll look at specific areas, and a hypothetical situation here, but if we consider a new obstruction, in this case I've given it a 15-metre clearance depth, what can AIS traffic analysis do for us? Well, 4 weeks of data, it was very thick. Okay, yeah, there's traffic going over the top of the obstruction there, but apart from it's busy, it doesn't actually tell me much further. But as I start to analyse that data, I go down to I'm looking there at specific traffic that has only passed within the 1.5 mile CPA of the actual obstruction. I'm getting closer to actually looking at what I want to know. Looking at a week, it's becoming more interesting. We can see that the majority of the traffic is to the northeast of the obstruction, but there is an amount of traffic going off to the northwest and coming down that way. And going down to 1 day, okay, yeah, I'm starting now to get a feel for actually the traffic that's going through there, but I need to know more. I can actually analyse the data and look at all of the traffic through that 1.5 mile CPA, the vessel type, and importantly, the vessel draft. What's going to hit it, or is it? Going back to the 1 day, I have now a different perception of what's happening in that area. However, this draft I'm particularly interested in here because of the 15-metre clearance. And I'm looking there at only vessels over 9 metres. And as you can see, there were 9 of them. Interesting. The 9 there, over 9 metre draft, one of them actually going directly over the wreck. Who is he? If I need to know, I can actually have a look at it, and that one was the Polari bank, as it happened, 19.2 metre draft. Who were they? Again, the 9 ships going through, let's have a look at them, let's actually analyse and see whether I need to make a decision. At the deepest there, 12.2 metres, one vessel. With a clearance of 15 metres and deep vessels being 12.2, an informed decision can then be made as to whether I need to deploy now, immediately. The next time we're going past, we'll survey to confirm the clearance depth. I have an informed decision, and in that case it's probably safe with the vessels going over to resurvey that position on the next availability, with significant cost benefit, I would say, for deployment of my vessels. Looking at shoal areas, again, this is a live situation where we had some reported hydrographic notes from the survey vessel saying that just to the north of the shoal, in the Black Deep, the highlighted area there, there's significant reduction in depths. So immediately, rather than uninformed, let's have a look at the traffic going through there. And the red cross was the original position of the buoy. And you can see that actually there were an awful lot of vessels going through that patch. But who were they? Was it important to the decreased shoal depths I had? Well, 72% of the vessels over 9 metres. I'm starting to get a little bit worried there. Already contacting my operations people with regard to moving the buoy, and I'll assess what I'm going to do. And once again, I'll look at specific vessels to see what the situation is, whether I need to think deeper at contacting owners immediately. That was the original tracks again with the original position of the buoy, and we moved it to the position where you can see charted there now. And I'm monitoring it, continuing to monitor, and you can see the change of tracks by moving the buoy to the northeast have significantly altered the traffic pattern, and vessels are now not passing over the reduced depths. It's a win. If we're looking at ATIC navigation requirements, as you can see, the magenta line there was the original position of the traffic separation scheme of the southwest approaches to the UK. And the red area, up here, that is a renewable energy or proposed wave and tidal renewable energy site. We were concerned about it in that position, and you can see why. That was the original traffic patterns with the northeast and southwest bound lanes going right over the top of this wave devices, which significant proposed devices could be in that position. Something had to be done, and the decision was to extend the traffic separation scheme, as shown in the earlier slide, up to about there. And you can see that the main traffic flows have indeed altered and are going past the end of the traffic separation scheme, the approach to it. But we decided that it was very necessary to position the buoy in that place there to ensure that the vessels do actually know where the corner is and they don't cut the corner. However, you can see there are quite a lot of vessels that are cutting the corner. So I'll have a look at it. Who are they? Is there a problem? Looking at vessels just in that area, yeah, significant vessels there, although it appears now that a lot of it is actually survey vessels that are not actually in transit, so perhaps less of a problem, but I want to have a look at it. And indeed, by doing further analysis, you can see that 50% of the vessels were, so 61% of the vessels, 50 of those were actually special operations. And looking at the drafts, I can also continue to make my analysis. This is a slide of the traffic as I continue to monitor the situation at that fairly busy area. And indeed, it's getting a little bit better, but vessels are still going through there. I need to know who they are. So filtering for vessels over 10 metres, particularly 10 metres, I'm interested in the moment. You can see that all of the significant vessels, 1 over 10 metres, are conforming with Rule 10 of the Traffic Separation Scheme rules and are clear of the dangers. The Ban Shoal there at 16.6 metres could well, with squat and vessels rolling, be a significant danger to vessels over that depth. This was